welcome. You're watching World Business Report Weekend Edition. I am Krishna Kumar. We begin with the big story of the week, and that was WeWork, the global co-working giant, filing for bankruptcy. Although it didn't mean anything for WeWork India, what it did result in was an over $5 billion loss for investing giant SoftBank, which had first invested into WeWork. Take a look at this Reuters report.
WeWork is not working out for SoftBank. The Japanese tech group booked a $5.2 billion quarterly loss on Thursday, its fourth straight quarter in the red. It took a hit from the bankruptcy of the once high-flying WeWork, a company once valued at $47 billion. SoftBank also wrote down the value of tech investments. The results show the unpredictability of founder Masayoshi Son's strategy of betting big on often risky startups. The Japanese conglomerate said it was squeezed by weakness in the yen that drove up costs on its dollar-denominated debt. The $5.2 billion net loss for the 3 months to end September compares to a near $20 billion profit a year earlier. Its Vision Fund investment unit, meanwhile, booked an investment profit of $141 million in Q3 after posting a $1 billion profit 3 months earlier. SoftBank said it believed the group had seen the worst and was moving towards profitability. The downbeat results came even as it managed to achieve the initial public offering of its chip designer ARM. SoftBank said ARM would be the new driver of value for the investment giant.
From tech to fashion, where fashion brands, global fashion brands like H&M and Gap are all set to hike prices on their branded clothes which are produced or made in Bangladesh. And that signals potential changes to the global supply chain of apparel. What does it mean for both you, the consumer, and the garment workers of Bangladesh? This Reuters report tells you all about it.
Global fashion brands, including H&M and Gap, are committed to raising purchase prices for Bangladesh-made clothing. They aim to help factories in the country offset higher workers' wages. That's according to a US-based association representing more than 1,000 brands. Bangladesh is the world's biggest garments exporter after China. It has seen protests by garment workers recently over pay. This week, a woman was killed as demonstrations between police and factory workers turned violent. The Bangladesh government has mandated an almost 60% raise to the minimum monthly wage to $113 from December. It marks the first increase in 5 years. Factory owners had said the wage hike would eat into their profit margins by increasing costs 5 to 6%. Trade body, the American Apparel and Footwear Association, told Reuters brands would absolutely hike purchase prices to accommodate these rising costs. Low wages have helped Bangladesh build its garment industry, which employs about 4 million people. Ready-made garments account for almost 16% of GDP. Retailers in the US and Europe are the main buyers of Bangladesh-made clothes.
Let's shift focus to Elon Musk, who ignited a fierce debate this week over the role of independent researchers and their work. Musk's actions are being seen by many as a war on independent researchers, sparking concerns about transparency and accountability in his ventures. This report tells you more.
A battle is brewing between Elon Musk's X and social media researchers. And researchers say that's helping spread misinformation during real-time events, like Hamas's attack on Israel and the Israeli airstrikes in Gaza. Before Musk bought Twitter last year, the platform was a hotbed for academic activity. It was a valuable source of information on politics and current events. And researchers say its data was easily accessible. Fast forward to now. At least 100 studies about the platform have been canceled, suspended, or changed, following a series of steps by Musk to restrict public data collection. That's according to more than a dozen interviews and a survey of 167 researchers done by the Coalition for Independent Technology Research at Reuters' request. The most important method was a tool that gave researchers data on 10 million tweets per month. Now, they have to pay up to $42,000 a month for that kind of data. The same survey also showed that researchers fear being sued by X over their findings, following X's lawsuit against the Center for Countering Digital Hate, a nonprofit, in July. It had published critical reports saying X was failing to remove hateful content and profiting from it. X accused the CCDH of improperly accessing data on the platform and promoting false claims to drive away its advertisers. In an interview with Reuters, CCDH Chief Executive Imran Ahmed said the organization stood by its research.
The work that we do is really valuable for members of the public, legislators and regulators all around the world who are trying to find ways to reduce the impact of hate speech, because it does lead to real-world violence. It leads to the normalization of the idea that it's okay to target and hurt even gay people, black people, Jewish people. But also advertisers have found it really valuable because they want to put their ads in spaces that aren't horrifically toxic, that aren't full of hate speech.
Researchers say they have limited options now to study X, and that makes users on the platform more vulnerable to hate speech and disinformation. One told Reuters research ahead of 2024, a major election year globally, is severely challenged. Musk did not immediately respond to a request for comment, and an X representative declined to comment. The company has previously said that nearly all content views are of healthy posts.
Now, even as Musk wages that war against independent researchers, here's something that he's not going to like. US President Joe Biden is looking to unionize his electric car company Tesla as well as Toyota, because Biden has thrown his support behind the United Auto Workers' ambitious push to unionize these automotive giants, and it marks a significant development in the ongoing labor dynamics within the American automotive industry. More details of this unprecedented endorsement from Biden for unions in this report. Have a look.
US President Joe Biden on Thursday backed the United Auto Workers' plans to turn their unionization efforts to carmakers Tesla and Toyota, as he sets out to shore up blue-collar support ahead of next year's election.
Wall Street didn't build America. The middle class built America. And unions built the middle class.
Speaking in Belvidere, Illinois, Biden congratulated the UAW and its leader, Shawn Fain, on achieving new deals with Detroit's big three automakers that ended a nearly 45-day strike, saying he wants it for all auto workers.
These deals are game changers, not only for UAW workers, but for all workers in America. Just ask the folks at Toyota, which last week announced it would significantly finally increase wages for their workers. You had no choice. They had no choice because of what you did. You helped everybody.
En route to the event, Biden told reporters that he absolutely supports the UAW's efforts to unionize Tesla and Toyota workers. In response to Biden's remarks, Toyota said it wants to foster positive morale and boost workforce productivity, adding that the decision to unionize is ultimately made by our team members. Tesla did not immediately respond to a request for comment, though what Biden said on Thursday may renew friction between him and CEO Elon Musk, who has made anti-union comments before. Meanwhile, Biden also made sure to remind the auto workers of his long history supporting unions, and pointed out how Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump visited a non-union factory in Michigan in September during the massive UAW strike. The UAW has yet to endorse Biden, unlike most other labor organizations, although labor leaders and Democratic officials say that endorsement is expected after the union's members approve their tentative contract deals with the Big Three. The agreements dramatically raise salaries for auto workers and restricts use of lower-paid temporary workers.
And even as Tesla faced the possibility of being unionized in a high-stakes meeting of tech and finance, Elon Musk and UK's Chancellor Rishi Sunak converged at the AI Safety Summit in London this week to discuss critical matters like China. It was a classic intersection of technology, AI, and international relations, and safety took center stage as these influential figures engaged in pivotal dialogues with potentially far-reaching implications. Here is a snippet of that conversation between Rishi Sunak and Elon Musk.
I took a decision to invite China to summit over the last couple of days. And it was not an easy decision. A lot of people criticized me for it. My view was, if you're going to try
it's essential. When I was in China earlier this year, my main subject of discussion with the leadership in China was AI safety, and saying that this is really something that they should care about, and they took it seriously, and you are too, which is great. And having them here, I think, was essential. Really, if they're not participants, it's pointless. I'm saying this is something we should be quite concerned about, because if the robot can follow you anywhere, then what if they just one day get a software update and they're not so friendly anymore? Then we've got a James Cameron movie on our hands.
It's funny you saying that, because in our session that we had today, I would say they made exactly the same point, right, Emma? So they're talking about movies, actually without mentioning James Cameron, they're talking about James Cameron movies.
Meanwhile, Mark Zuckerberg's Meta announced plans to bar political advertisers from using its artificial intelligence-powered advertising tools. This decision, announced this week, comes amidst growing concerns over the role of social media in political discourse and signals a major shift in Meta's own advertising policies. Take a look at this.
Facebook parent Meta says it's banning political advertisers from using its new generative AI advertising tools. That's according to a company spokesperson Monday. With less than a year now until the US general election, Meta's move aims to cut off campaigns' access to tools that may turbocharge the spread of election misinformation on the world's second biggest platform for digital ads. Meta's generative AI ad products and virtual assistants, which can instantly create backgrounds, image adjustments, and ad copy in response to text prompts, were made available to a small group of advertisers in the spring. And a month ago, Meta expanded access to more advertisers. By barring access to it for political advertisers, Meta's made one of the industry's most significant AI-related policy choices related to political ads. As so far little has been said by big tech giants about safeguards on generative AI ad products released in recent months. Meta's top policy executive Nick Clegg said last month the use of generative AI in political advertising was, quote, clearly an area where we need to update our rules. He warned tech could be used to interfere in upcoming elections in 2024, especially content that moves from one platform to another. Meta's rival Alphabet's Google rolled out a similar image-customizing generative AI ad tool last week. It says it plans to keep politics out by blocking a list of political keywords from being used as prompts.
All right, now this one is for all the PlayStation fans out there. The company that makes the PlayStation, Sony, has faced a profit decline over the week due to a chip slump, and that is despite maintaining its PlayStation 5 or PS5 sales target. So what are the challenges facing Sony's own bottom line, and what is it doing to meet the demand for its gaming consoles would continue to be high? More in this report.
Sony's operating profit was down a big 29% for the July to September period. The Japanese tech giant was hit by a weaker performance at its image sensor and financial divisions. Profit for the quarter reached $1.74 billion, much lower than analysts had forecast. Its chips division was a significant sore point, with profit down 37% due to higher expenses and weaker image sensor sales. But there was better news for Sony's gaming division. The company hiked its full-year sales forecast for the games unit by almost 5% to $1.25 billion. It also moved 4.9 million PlayStation 5 units in the second quarter. Sony kept its sales target of selling 25 million PS5 consoles this financial year. The recently released Marvel's Spider-Man 2 offers cheer going into the key year-end shopping season. Sony said it had sold 5 million units of the game by the end of October. Sony maintained its full-year operating profit at $7.7 billion, but raised its sales and net income forecast by 2% each. Sony shares were down 0.8% on Thursday ahead of the earnings report. They've climbed almost a third so far this year.
Now, this is called the Construction Challenge, and it's making a significant impact by helping feed New Yorkers in need. It's a unique event that combined creativity and charity, demonstrating how innovative thinking can bring positive change to our lives and our communities. Take a look at this.
Construction teams of architects and engineers and students that they mentor design and build these giant structures out of full cans of food. You see the best original design behind me. And they're juried for 6 different awards, and after the exhibit's over, we donate all the food to City Harvest.
Now, in an effort to revive its tourism industry, Egypt is making strategic moves in the midst of the ongoing war in Gaza. So how exactly is Egypt navigating the challenges of a nearby war zone and taking steps to boost its own tourism sector? And what are the measures being taken and the impact it will have on Egypt's own economy? This special report tells you all about it.
Egypt has begun offering incentives to help support its tourism industry in the southern Sinai on the Red Sea. Speaking on Monday, Egypt's tourism minister Ahmed Issa said the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza had begun to affect the sector.
So far, the impact is on the customers who have bought the regional products, because the tourism sector in Israel is actually practically shut down. So this is where we're seeing the most significant impact. But in the grand scheme of things, the overall size of bookings, that represents less than 10% of the total number of bookings in Egypt.
Tourism is a key source of scarce foreign currency for Egypt, which was on track to earn more than $13 billion this year and hit a target of 15 million visitors. But ratings firm S&P Global warned on Monday that a fall in tourism due to the conflict could cause significant problems. The impact is likely to also be felt in countries such as Lebanon and Jordan, due to travellers postponing or cancelling holidays to the Middle East and North Africa. Although Issa insisted tourists were committed to Egypt.
We're hearing from them that as people realize the geopolitics and that the Red Sea resorts are far and away from what's happening in the region, we're seeing significant escalation again to the normal levels of the reservations for the season December to February.
Egypt is offering an extra $500 of incentives per flight landing in Sharm el-Sheikh and is working closely with wholesalers, retailers and airliners. Sharm el-Sheikh is about 225 miles south of Sinai's northern Mediterranean coast, which borders the Gaza Strip. The Palestinian group Hamas carried out a surprise attack on southern Israel from Gaza on October 7th, killing 1,400 people and seizing around 240 hostages in the deadliest day in Israel's history. It triggered an Israel-Hamas war that has seen the heaviest Israeli bombardment of Gaza in 75 years of conflict. According to the Hamas-run health authorities, more than 10,000 Palestinians have been killed.
Now, it was also a week when the Hollywood actors' strike finally ended after over 118 days nearly. And Hollywood actors and the actors around America were all seen celebrating and rejoicing the fact that a tentative deal has indeed been struck between the actors' union and the Hollywood producers. And it wasn't just all the regular actors celebrating. It was also a week when the latest edition of the Hunger Games franchise is also releasing. And so the stars of the Hunger Games, even as they're promoting the film at premieres and stuff, were seen rejoicing the fact that the Hollywood actors' strike is finally over. Take a look at this.
It was kind of a double whammy. I already woke up feeling positive, and then I saw the news, and I was like, "What? This is a great day!" And it was sunny in London, which never happens. So all good all round. Yeah.
It feels pretty terrific. First of all, for it to be, the premiere after so much time, putting this all together, working really, really hard over the summer last year, and now to be here, it's really incredible. And for it to happen on a day with other really good news is good. I know a lot of people who are ready to get back to work. I'm ready to get back to work. So, yeah.
I won't bore you on it, but thank you so much for talking to me. Thank you. Enjoy your night. Thank you.
I mean, it's great. We started to get news last night, which is great. First and foremost, I'm happy for all the people that fought so hard to get what they needed and deserved. I'm really happy that the people that have been sort of sidelined and out of work because of the work stoppage are going to be able to go back to work and earn a living again. But I'm also selfishly, I'm really happy for our young cast specifically that they can come out and celebrate a movie that they worked so hard for.
Now, get ready for a captivating journey through time with the upcoming release of a film, Calais, Paris, 1958. Step back 65 years in time to that unforgettable night when opera legend Maria Callas mesmerized the Parisian audience for the very first time. Thanks to the painstaking efforts of filmmaker Tom Wolfe and his dedicated team, who meticulously restored the long-forgotten film reels, bringing to life a historic moment as far as opera is concerned, which was only once seen in black and white.
A new film called Calais, Paris 1958 seeks to restore in living color opera legend Maria Callas, who dazzled a rapt audience in a one-off concert in the City of Lights almost 65 years ago.
It was called the day of the performance. The newspapers titled "The Greatest Show in the World."
Filmmaker Tom Wolfe and his team meticulously restored the original 16mm film reels of Callas's performance, which was only broadcast in black and white.
I retrieved the backstory that after the actual performance in December 1958 and the live broadcast, she was given the actual 16mm, and she had kept them for all this time. And then they have waited for a few decades in a basement until I was able to retrieve them.
Turning old tape into 4K quality with vivid color was not an easy feat. But Wolfe said the other challenge was to make a film that even opera rookies could enjoy.
Aside of the tremendous and meticulous amount of work and efforts that have been put into the restoration and to bring the image into 4K Ultra HD entirely in color, and to make it as vivid as, if it was shot, last month in 2023, rather it was something that was shot with the means of 1958, so it was a technical and technological challenge for us. But at the same time, there was also a director's challenge into editing the film in a way that would make out of the 3-hour broadcast an actual 90-minute film for the cinema that would be understandable and accessible by anyone. That is not something for experts or especially, for people who are knowledgeable about opera, but something as it was meant to be back in the days, something that anyone could watch and be thrilled to feel like they're attending a Callas performance live.
Born in New York in December 1923 to Greek parents, Callas was credited with reviving, almost single-handedly, the Italian bel canto vocal technique. She died of a heart attack in 1977 at the age of 53.
We are all trying in a way to approach and glimpse at the mystery of her life story and her art.
The film will be released in some 40 countries between November and December in celebration of the centenary of Callas's birth.
Right, guess who's in an empire state of mind? In a breathtaking spectacle, Oscar-winning actor and singer Jared Leto scaled New York's iconic Empire State Building. This daring stunt served as a grand announcement for Jared Leto's own music band called 30 Seconds to Mars and their highly anticipated world tour, which begins in March 2024. Clad in what appeared to be an orange jumpsuit, Leto was captured in an aerial video ascending the renowned tower using only a rope and a harness. In fact, a photograph showed Leto sing at the top of the building after the completion of the jaw-dropping display. It's a monumental moment for his band 30 Seconds to Mars as they embark on their massive season's 2024 world tour, the band's first headline tour in nearly 5 years. Keeping into the world of entertainment, filmmakers are gearing up for the Marvels, and they're not holding back on promises of surprising twists. What's in store for Marvel fans from the Marvels and other Marvel films coming forward? This Reuters report tells you all about it.
She's entangled our light-based powers, so we switch places whenever we use them.
Strong theory.
You can absorb light. I can see it. And Kamala...
Who's Kamala?
Hi.
The overarching sort of plan, the galaxy braining that Kevin Feige does, I don't even know. You know, like the way they've created this universe and built it up to what it is now and the way they're envisioning it for the future, I only know like a small part of that based like through my my working on this film. But it definitely felt like this, like a nexus point. I understand why they haven't shown the whole thing because there's just so much in there. And by the time you get to the end of the film, you have a really pretty clear idea about where the MCU is going, which is really exciting. So that's, I think, a big reason why we're going to do the first 25 minutes, keep it cute until, you know, close to the release.
It borrows from the DNA from the comics, crossovers, team-ups, unexpected team-ups. Of course, what we know from the trailers is that time and space itself is in peril in this film, and so the universe will definitely be a bit different after this adventure.
It's a groundbreaking fusion of music and technology. The Beatles have made headlines once again by releasing a new artificial intelligence-powered song featuring the unmistakable voice of the late John Lennon. This creation had the world buzzing with excitement and curiosity about the possibilities going forward and, of course, ethical considerations in the realm of the AI-generated artistry. We leave you with that. Thank you so much for watching World Business Report Weekend Edition. We will see you next week.
It's all